Thursday night felt like Christmas morning because NFL football is back, baby. And wow, what an incredible way to start off the season. If this is the sign of the times what we can expect for a lot of games, this is going to be an incredible NFL season. There is so much to cover. Dak is all the way back. Brady is actually 24 years old. The Dallas offensive line protected Dak even shorthanded. Micah Parsons is the best player on that defense, and they're finally starting to cause turnovers. Antonio Brown is back into Steelers form. Zeke looks ancient, and Tony Pollard should start. At the end of the day, Cowboys did Cowboys things, making the Bucs the first team in NFL history to win a game losing the turnover margin by 3, having over 100 yards in penalties and give up 450 yards. And the GOAT had a demon look in his eyes with less than 2 minutes remaining, and at that point, the writing was already written on the wall. We are going to cover all of this and more while sprinkling in some specific plays to show you what I mean, so let's get into it. Starting at the top with Dak Prescott, and I just released a full video on Dak's performance earlier, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but if you're really interested in that, go check out this video. He was a major concern and why 95% of people thought the Bucs were going to win this game. Not only was he coming off a gruesome and horrible injury, but he strained his shoulder as well, and he goes out and throws the ball 58 times, throws for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, if you told me back in 2016 that Zeke would be almost a non-factor in the Cowboys offense and the Cowboys would throw the ball 58 times, I would laugh at you. But now this is our reality. In the past 2 seasons, we haven't really wanted to accept it because we always claimed that Dak was just picking up empty calorie yards. Not only was this proof that this is not empty calorie yards, but he did all of his work inside the pocket and showed that he can sling it with the best of them with his army of receivers. And even more surprising in how well their offensive line held up without Pro Bowl right guard Zach Martin, only giving up 1 sack all night. If they can stay healthy, they are already much better than I thought they were going to be because the Bucs defensive line is no joke. Now talking about old man Brady, I know that people are aware that his arm hasn't completely fallen off that much, but if you still aren't a believer, here are a few plays and let me know if his arm talent still looks like a problem. He has always been fantastic moving within the pocket like a technician, but he looks even better this year after getting his surgery. Moving further out of the pocket, he even did a rollout. This is something that we haven't seen in a very long time. He threw it over 50 times as well, just under 400 yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions when neither of them were really his fault, but he is the best ever to do it with the game on the line. His offensive line performed very well in the passing game. This was definitely a battle of the quarterbacks. It looked like an Oklahoma-Texas Tech college game with Baker and Mahomes. And speaking of which, not only did I have Brady and Godwin on my fantasy team, which was awesome, but Antonio Brown really stole the show. I'm going to keep all the Antonio Brown talk to just on the field, but that being considered, we saw him in full form last night since joining the middle of last season. Him and Brady not only seemed to be on the same page, but the same paragraph, sentence, and word. He had tough catches. He found open space. He was great after the catch, and he did the simple things right. He has a newfound explosive breakaway speed like we see on this 47-yard touchdown pass, which is great to see, but it's also terrible to see for the other 31 NFL teams out there. And before we get into Micah Parsons, the Cowboys defense, and eventually why I think they lost, I want to say something bold, and I think that is the Cowboys need to start Tony Pollard or make the carries much more 50-50. And why I say that is because of the transformation this Cowboys offense has made. They have the best offensive line. They could pound the ball 3 to 6 yards to carry no matter what defense is out there when Zeke was that guy. But like I mentioned earlier, where Dak is that guy now, he has Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz. They're going to spread it out and have 3 to 4 receivers almost every play. And with that, you need to be able to gash the defense when they're in too high. And since Dak has shown to be very good against the blitz, and I mean very good, which you can see in my previous video, you need a running back that can get up the field or stretch the field fast. And Zeke just doesn't have that burst anymore. Tony Pollard doesn't need to be that bruiser back for the Cowboys, even though he does look bigger than he does last year. But look at this play right here. This is a zone bubble play. Look what happens when Pollard gets the ball. He's running, and then he sees his opening and just turns it into another gear and bursts forward. This is what a burst looks like. Out of nowhere, he found a way to go faster and attack, and I just don't see Zeke having that anymore. Pollard can get through smaller holes. He has that speed to break away from everyone if he gets past the second level. He might not run or fall forward for extra yards like Zeke might, but this burst is going to get them a lot more big trunk plays, and that's what the Cowboys offense really needs in their new offense. Moving on, even though Micah Parsons looked great, D-Law looked great, their DBs looked credible sometimes, what really stood out was their ability to force turnovers, which is something they struggled with for years. That fumble against Ronald Jones was an amazing play by D-Law, and making Godwin fumble near the goal line was incredible. You have to convert. So this is what we can take away from both teams. The Cowboys are much, much better than most everyone expected them to play. Their line looks better. The Dan Quinn defense looks good. Their O-line without their star looked good. Dak was fantastic. They still lost. You can't perform that well on offense, create 4 turnovers, and play a better game end to end and lose. And they did. And Greg Zuerlein deserves a lot of heat for this game. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point. I mean, one of the field goals was 60 yards, so let's not even count that one right now. But that's 4 points left on the board. That's a Cowboys win. Even though the Cowboys should really feel good about competing with a fully reloaded defending championship team, what the Cowboys have been so known for doing is losing games that they absolutely should win, and they did everything to win this game besides actually win it. They should never, ever expect a Tom Brady-led team to turn the ball over 4 times and give up so many penalty yards. Your quarterback was on fire, and the game was handed on a silver platter, and yet through all of their efforts, they are 0-1. And on the flip side, following the logic, it seems like the Bucs should be worried, but I don't think that's the case at all. Brady and Bruce Arians are not content with the mistakes and mental errors on the field, and I promise you that they're going to be corrected, or they're going to find people who won't make those mistakes. But knowing that they can have a bad game, have a ton of mental errors, and the pass rush isn't getting there, and they can still pull off a win, this should be a very good sign of things to come, because in the statistic before, like I mentioned, they are the first team in NFL history to win a game like this. So that they know that they can iron some things out. This should have been a 21-point win, even though they should have lost. And the Cowboys should know that they can't play much better than they did, but their schedule gets much easier. They do have the Chargers next week, but they don't play a team that made the playoffs last year until week 11. So in the end, both teams have a ton of things to take away, and for the most part, it's all very positive. If I'm the Cowboys, I see the visible improvement from last year. They need to do things that contending teams do to win big games, like control the clock, be able to run the ball with the lead, and make PATs and field goals. But after week 1, I want to give my prediction after every team's record once I get a good look at their regular season games. But I know for a fact that the Cowboys answered a lot of questions that I had, and they're going to win a lot more games than I think they did before seeing this game, and they're in a very good position to win their division in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. What did you guys take away from week 1? There was so much to take away. I did a further in-depth analysis on Dak specifically, so if you want to check that out, go check it out. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you thought of this game and what some of your predictions are for this week 1 season. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I really do. I really mean that. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. And as always, I will see you tomorrow. Peace.